Hey there, my name's Jonathan. I wanted to give a quick review on the DieHard 2-ton crane. I haven't actually completely assembled mine yet, but I wanted to give some initial thoughts and feedback because there was no information available online when I went to buy this. Advance Auto Parts had 0 reviews on this product, but I thought, you know what, it's Advance, it's got a 1-year warranty. I'm willing to give it a go. My Harbor Freight didn't have any of these 2-ton jacks. And with, Advance's typical online discount, I was able to get this at a reasonable price. So let me show you quickly what it looks like after you've kind of taken it out of the box and then give you some quick initial thoughts. I'll kind of breeze through the assembly unless I hit some snags that might be helpful for you to know. And then I have a motor right behind me I'll show you here in a second that we will kind of take a look at. So first of all, it comes in 2 boxes. You can see it says box 2, don't forget box 1. My local Advance had this one, but they mistakenly didn't have the main one here, or the square one. That one has your hydraulic ram and your top piece, so obviously fairly important. This is the motor that I'm gonna be picking up. It's a BMW M54, and I had to move stuff inside because it was raining, which is why I'm working in this tiny space now. But this is the main box. So you're gonna have your main uprights and then your kind of support legs. And then your main hydraulic ram. As you can see, I haven't unboxed it, but the hardware is of course very beefy, all included. And then the other thing that you're going to get in the other box is all of your casters and kind of the main frame portion on the back. I went ahead and started putting on the casters. You can kind of slide them down, which is nice. I think I must have hand tightened these a little bit too much, but you can slide this down so that it makes it a little bit easier to get the bolts on, stick your fingers in there, because you got to go washer, crush washer, then the nut. The instructions are fairly basic. I mean, by step 1, it's already assuming that you put the wheels on. So, there's little things like that, but nothing crazy. So overall, I mean, everything looks good. You can see I'm not a welder, but I mean, those look like good welds. So hopefully if you are, you can correct me. One thing that's really nice is all of the hardware comes already matched up. So like this, all of this right here was already done, has the washer, crush washer, and the nut, already pre-positioned. All of the casters come with their stuff organized as well. So I took it off to be able to, slide this up and down. But all that comes organized for you, which is nice. So like I said, I'm going to continue assembling this stuff, maybe get myself some more space back outside, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so I have the base done, and I'll quickly show you what that's like. It's really simple, really easy to move. The casters are nice. I'm sure it's gonna change once it gets some weight on it, but so far so good. So technically I haven't even completed step 1. I got the casters on, then put these little arms on, but as you can see, really easy to move. Hopefully that holds true whenever it's fully assembled and has weight on it. We'll see. So I've made a bit more progress, got the legs on, and I was having a hard time following the fact that the legs have 3 holes in them, but one of them that's covered up right now right here is going to actually apply when the leg is lifted straight up and down, and the pin is going to move there, and that lines up with the one that's covered up. So that was a little bit confusing, but the thing I realized is that the best reference in terms of picture is definitely just this manual. The box is all stylized and colorful, but this was another question I had, is how exactly does this little upright support line up? And I would have probably attached it here unknowingly, or attempted to, but this one cleared it right up. So it's coming along. At this point, I'm about to put on this upright here, and it's really going to start to take shape. So far I've been able to do this as one person, no problem. But we'll see if that ability to put this all together as one person works, because this upright is screaming heavy. So we'll see. So far so good. The other thing I wanted to show is all this like black, almost sand type stuff that comes out of it. I assume this is a welding byproduct. I really don't know. It looks almost like gunpowder, but it's all over the place. Even the box was rattling with all this sand type stuff. So all that you see right there came out of this main upright that I just shook. So I'm gonna go ahead and just clean all that off. But listen to that, that's a lot of stuff. So I don't know, maybe that's just like I said, a welding byproduct, but that doesn't seem intentional. So another thing to keep in mind is for these super beefy bolts and nuts, these are 24 millimeter. So just make sure you have, a socket big enough for that. I assume if you're buying a Hoist, you have this kind of stuff, but just thought you might want to know. So far, everything's been a 13 and a 14, but these are 24. All right. Lord, she blows. So pretty much everything is done. I was able to test it, jack it up a little bit, and it works. A couple of bolts aren't tight because I'll show you real quick. The big bolt here is an M18, so that's like a 27 mil, and I don't have 2 wrenches big enough right now because obviously you got to get onto that one. And then the 2 that attach to the feet are also M18 cap as well. Here's a quick look at it all folded up. Obviously, like I said, my big bolts down there aren't tight, so the legs are still a little bit wobbly when they're folded up, but that'll be fixed tomorrow whenever I get the proper size. But it's not that big. I mean, like I said, I've never had one of these before, so I just had it in my mind it was going to take up way more space. But honestly, I could probably clear out some space over here and just leave it right over there and not really lose any garage space. So I'm pretty happy with that. The thing is, this is totally doable by yourself. It would obviously be easier with a partner, but for me, it took me probably about 2.5 hours-ish, but that's obviously because I made some mistakes, had to go backward, figure out, you know, sort out some bolts, stuff like that. So totally doable by yourself. All right, so it's the next day and I got everything tightened down. I wanted to give you a look at this in the daytime so you can kind of see everything looks really nice. And like I said, I've never had one of these before, so I don't exactly know the, you know, build quality of like the Harbor Freight ones, for instance, but I'm really happy with the way it looks visually. It seems all put together nicely, and everything's great. So now what I'm gonna do is go ahead and get the engine on it, make sure everything works, and then I think we'll call it quits there. Here's just a quick look at everything in the daytime with some good lighting. You can kind of see that's how the leg stands up. It still, you know, kind of goes back and forth a little bit, but that pin does its job. And I mean, now with it tightened down, it's not going to smush your fingers. See, that's as far as it goes back, so you can still have your hand there and not worry about having your hand smashed, which is good because last night it did. But yeah, everything looks nice. I assume this is probably just a rebranded version of somebody else's lift, but I'm pretty happy with this. Everything looks nice. The other thing worth considering is you're going to need a 27 mil socket. You're going to need a 27 and a 24 to put this thing together. Like you saw last night, I had to go out and buy the 27. You don't need the 27 for very many, you know, bolts on here, like just 3 or 4. So you could get away with, you know, realistically 2, you know, crescent wrenches and just kind of get them to the right spot if you have one big enough. I just went ahead and bought the socket, but I actually just used a C-clamp on the other side to kind of tighten the bolts down because they're so massive and there's enough space. So just make sure that you have the 24 mil and the 27 mil that you're going to need. So I'm getting ready to pick up the engine, and I couldn't for the life of me get these pins back in the legs just because of the way the ground is a little bit unlevel here. So I just got out my jack, gave it a couple of pumps right in here just to lift it up so that the pin would go through, and now it works fine. So you can kind of see these middle casters come off the ground, which is, I think, supposed to happen. It's just extra support. And then, of course, when your legs are actually in the up position, those casters kind of come into place. So if you're having trouble getting that pin in, just get your jack, boop, boop, a couple of ticks up, and you'll be good to go. Okay, so I didn't really film it, but this engine is now on its stand, and it was relatively painless. I mean, the crane worked perfectly. I had no issues whatsoever. And I did go ahead and put it out to the 1 1/4 ton because just the way that this one in the back was, the hook wasn't far enough forward for me, but it worked great. And the pressure release is super easy to manage. I can be really careful about how much pressure I'm letting out at one time, so it worked great. And now I can proceed with this engine project. Obviously, this is looking rough, so there's a lot of work to do this. So the long and short of it is that I am really happy with this crane. I've never had one, like I said, but it helped me do exactly what I needed to do, so I'm pretty stoked on this. I would definitely recommend this. The 2-ton option is definitely the way to go because you have so much more control in where you put it. You know, you can stick the arm out longer, and you do lose lifting strength, but you still have a lot. I mean, at 1 1/4 ton and 1 1/8 ton, that's, you know, well over 1,000 pounds. So I guess unless you're doing some massive 454 or something, then this should be more than enough. So hope this video has been helpful. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you guys are interested in more videos like this and also in this engine build project. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts and have a great day.